Hey, welcome back to season 6 of Sip with Joy. I'm so happy to be back. I'm a little raspy today because, y'all, I was hollering at the Usher concert. So I am still recovering from seeing Usher and Beyonce in less than 7 days. I'm struggling. But I am here. I was like, I'm not going to delay it another week. I want to show up for the people. So I am here and so glad to be back. So if this is your first time joining, welcome to Sip with Joy, a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, a serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And you know what it is. I got to tell you about the wine of the day, and it is a Côte du Rhône because I'm still in my Usher in Paris mode. So this is a French wine. It is a combination of Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. So this is also known as GSM. So if you want to try it, I'm going to tell you more about it on the sip of the day. So if you have to follow Instagram at Sip with Joy to find out about the sip of the day. I go into details about the notes and the flavors and what you can pair it with. And yeah, I'm going to take my sip. And hey, people. Hey, y'all here today. Hey, Max. Hey, Just Lee. Hey, Lizzo, aka Lydia. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Elsie. Thanks, guys. Hey, Robin. All right, so we in the building today. Okay, so the topic today, y'all, well, the title of today's episode is called White Men Can't Jump. And it's some white boys out there that can jump. But I named it this because I want to talk about interracial relationships in lieu of the split between Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. Because apparently they divorced over cultural differences and family values. So I want to talk about that. Jeannie Mai is Asian, Jeezy is black. They got married, and it wasn't a very long time that they dated. It was a very short time, and had a baby, and that's all she wrote. Hey, Galactos. Yeah, the voice is not fully back, Robin. It's Usher fault. Blame it on Usher. But it's I got a little something to work with here, y'all. So I'm trying. Okay, we go get it done. We go get it popping. So when I was in college, I dated a Vietnamese guy. And actually, let me back up a little bit. I went to school in Brunswick, Maine. So the choices were very limited in Brunswick, Maine, okay? Either it was white or everybody else. And so I had a crush on an Indian guy. I had a crush on a white guy, but he was he wasn't a good match, y'all. He was yeah, we gonna leave it at that. He wasn't a good match, and so I needed someone with a little more swag. He didn't have enough swag for me. So then I dated a Vietnamese guy in the last year of college, and he was actually 2 years younger than me. Thought I was gonna be married and have a little. Oh, okay, train. All right. So have my little Blasian babies and all of that, and I was like, ooh, I'm in love with this Vietnamese guy. How am I gonna tell my parents about this and what have you? But actually, my parents didn't mind. They were like, hey, if you bring them home, we'll embrace them. As long as you're happy, we're happy. And I think, more parents should be like that with their children. Love is love. You love who you love. But I was so scared because I'm like, I had, dated black guys and or Latin guys. And so brought this Vietnamese guy home, and some of my family had something to say, and I was like, listen, this is who I'm with. We gonna be together forever. So, but it's great that my family embraced him because I have all types of people in my family. So they embraced him, and we actually had a lot in common because people are like, what, Vietnamese? And back in the day, it was not popular for a black woman to be with an Asian man. You saw Asian men you saw black men with Asian women, but you did not see black women with Asian men. So when I brought him home for the first time and we were walking downtown Chicago, um, people were looking at us like we were crazy, and some people were actually even rude. They were like, how did this Asian man get this black woman? And people were looking at us crazy, and that made him feel insecure. And it caused some tension in our relationship because, again, I was older than him and I was leaving college. He was going to be there for another year or so. And so I was coming back to Chicago, and he was like, "You're going back to all these men, all these black men, and your exes in Chicago and all this stuff." So it was a conversation that we needed to have, and how I could put him at ease about that. But like I said, we had a lot in common, but there were cultural differences. His family lived in the States. Well, his parents lived in the States, but they barely spoke English. So there was a language barrier there when we would go visit his parents. And then I even went to Vietnam to see his other family, like cousins and aunts. And that was definitely an experience. And these are conversations that you have to have. Like, what are the expectations going to be when you are dating someone from a completely different culture? So yeah, we were in Vietnam. It was like 120 degrees. They didn't have air conditioner in the house, and his aunt would make all this food every single day. And she would get upset if I didn't eat all my food, and I'm like, I can't, I'm full. But that's just how they prepared meals. And so there was a lot I had to learn about his culture, but I was willing to learn. And same with him. But he was like, he was a Vietnamese guy with a little swag. He grew up in an urban area, so he was used to dating black women, so he had a little swag about him. So I really wasn't worried about that, but there still were some things he had to get used to in terms of, like I said, the reactions to us being out in public and what have you. And I really didn't care, but then when I was in Chicago, I actually noticed how people were reacting to us because we lived in a bubble in college, so didn't have to worry about it. So yeah, that was interesting, because like I said, at the time that was not popular, and it's still not something you really see. You don't really see black women with Asian men. um, so it can be exciting to be with someone of another race and culture because you're learning new things, but it can also be challenging. Do you all have similar interests when it comes to food, for example? Are any compromises being made, in terms of culture? Like, okay, one day we go out and eat Vietnamese, or you go and eat what I like. So there were a lot of conversations that had to be had about our different cultures, and it was a little tough, but we made it work. The challenge for us was when I graduated and he was left at college by himself, and he didn't feel comfortable with me being in Chicago by myself, with all these beautiful black men around. But I know, like with Jeezy and Jeannie Mai, he had mentioned to friends that she wouldn't cook the food that he likes, like soul food. She didn't want to cook it. She was always giving him these traditional Vietnamese dishes, and he wanted his food. And there were other things there. I'm sure people are citing like family values and things like that. Those are things that you definitely have to talk about in the beginning, because it was the same with us. Like, how is my family going to react to you, and how is your family going to react to me? Because I don't want to be in an uncomfortable environment if you take me home. Because I mentioned, I had a crush on this white guy in college, but I knew he couldn't take my black ass home. It just wasn't gonna work. So it was just a crush from afar and moving on. Same thing with the Indian guy. It was very traditional in his family. Like his was an arranged, he ended up having an arranged marriage. So yeah. And over the years I've met guys who are from other races, and yeah, it's like, how we gonna work this out? So the compromise is a huge thing. I mean, hell, dating somebody vegan when you are a meat eater is also an adjustment. I know for me, listen, if someone doesn't drink or if someone's vegan, that's difficult for me because we got to make a lot of adjustments in terms of meals and all of that. But hey, I guess if you fall in love with somebody, then you make adjustments, you make it work. Um, but there are questions that have to be asked again about how you're going to be accepted in somebody's family, because again, that can cause stress and tension, and you don't want that. Um, and then you also have to understand what biases you have about each other, because if they have a certain belief about your race and you have a certain belief about theirs, and then it comes out in conversation, or when you mad and you call them a name or say something mean about their culture, then you got a problem. And I always joke with my friends that I have never slept with a white man, because if he choked me or asked me to say his name in the bedroom, I might go off on that man, and tell him I'm not your slave. So y'all pray for me, because these are things that I have to deal with, because I am equal opportunity, but I gotta work through some things. But this is where communication comes into play, because you want to create a safe space for one another, again, about any stereotypes or hangups that you have. Like, listen, white boy, you can't choke me in the bedroom. I'm sorry. There's just some things we cannot do. Um, Yes, Robin said those conversations should be had before marriage. Absolutely. Absolutely, those questions should be had before marriage. And that's what I think. I think we get so wrapped up in just loving each other and so caught up in the actual relationship that we forget to ask hard questions. And even outside of the cultural thing, people forget to ask questions about finances. They get to ask questions about certain habits. It's a lot of questions that go unanswered. And so you have to address the hard questions before you get married. That can be covered in the engagement phase, because engagements can be broken. Marriage, you can get divorced too, but why go through all that when you could have addressed these things beforehand? So, I know even when I was in college and I was dating that guy, we talked about a lot of things culturally, because I'm like, so I just need to know, are you gonna try to have me move to Vietnam or whatever? Because your family live on the East Coast. I just need to know what's gonna happen. What are your expectations? How are you going to raise your children? What are your family values? What are your beliefs? What do you eat? What do all these different things? Like, we talked about a lot of those things, and like I said, we have a lot of things in common. So yeah, thinking about what your own biases are, and stereotypes and hangups, because I got hangups, y'all. um but I haven't worked through those with the white man yet, because it's 12 years a slave up in here, and I just need to know why you want to choke me, though. Why you want to say my name? You think I'm your slave? So I gotta work through these things. I really do. um so anyway, the other thing is too is that you have to stand up for one another when challenged by friends and other people. Because I had people that said rude things to me about dating a Vietnamese guy, and I checked them on it. Like, first of all, this is my relationship. You don't have to date this person, and why is it bothering you? So standing up for that person, because I'm not gonna let someone talk about my partner. It's just not gonna happen. Um, and then it's just also so much negativity online about interracial couples in general. And but I'm thinking, like, but did you want that person? Because you look at Kim and Kanye. Who did anybody want Kanye? I'm not saying that nobody wanted Kanye, but I'm just saying Kanye is a very interesting character, and the average black woman did not want to be with Kanye. So he went with who's going to accept him. Donald Glover is another example. I could go down the line about guys that people are mad about when they find out that they are with women who are non-black, and they get mad. Like, why does it matter? If this is who that person loves, let just why does it matter to you? Because if that person approached you, you probably want to talk to them anyway. Donald Glover was probably awkward in college or high school, whatever. And again, the average black woman didn't want him, and so he got with somebody that accepted him. And I think it's also challenging to see. I think it's challenging for people to see online, especially when people are pro-black. Then they see somebody with a person of another race. I mean, Kamala Harris, she with a white man. You know, Serena Williams is with Alexis Ohanian, and people dog him out. They say he's corny. He's it. First of all, Alexis is a billionaire, and he loves her dirty draws. So if some white man or whoever, a non-black man, is going to love my dirty draws, listen, you ain't gonna hear no complaints out of me, and y'all better not talk about my man. That's all I gotta say. Let's see. Max said, with Jeezy and Jeannie Mai, I did hear that she's trying to make it work, but I hope it works out for the better with the both of them. Terrell Owens is a perfect example. Some people are mad at his preferences white women, and he spoke about how black women teased him. Now, you have that with the teasing, and then you also have some black men, or just people, not just black men, but people of certain races who just totally just disregard their own race, period, and they go to another race. Like, I've had black men say, oh, I don't date black women. I'm like, but your mama black, your daddy black. Have you looked in the mirror lately? How you just gonna just disregard your entire race? That's what makes me mad, and make it seem like another race is superior to your own. So I have an issue with that, but I don't have an issue with people dating someone from another race. You know, people dog Halle Berry. I mean, we saw what happened with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I mean, geez, the level of hate that people have for somebody else's relationship is crazy. I'm telling y'all, if I don't end up with a black man, it's gonna be somebody of the other persuade of the another race. Okay, so y'all better leave me alone, cause whoever gonna love me, and I love them. That's all it's gonna be. And y'all gonna see the back of his head on Instagram. Let's see. Rhonda posted a family she's been following. Yes, I mean, listen, love is love. Matthew McConaughey got him a Latin woman, Camila Alves, Chrissy Teigen, and John Legend. I mean, like I said, the list can go on. People will find who loves them, okay? And that's what I'm hoping for. All right, now I'm gonna take it to the other extreme, though. I'm gonna show y'all something. This has been a couple that's been in the news, on the interwebs. Travis Kelce and I can't. It's too many T's. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are now a couple. The couple, or the picture above, is Travis Kelce and his ex-girlfriend Kayla Nicole, who's a journalist. Now, I just want y'all to look at the picture and look at the difference between when he was with Kayla and when he is now with Taylor. He has shaved off his beard, and he had a little swag when he was with Kayla. So it's just interesting how people transform themselves when they get with certain people. Like, he had all this swagger. Now he looked like Paul Bunyan. I mean, what is going on? No one's knocking him for dating Taylor Swift or whatever, but a lot of people are giving him backlash for how he just dropped Kayla. We don't know what happened. You know, there's another black girl that was with Travis before Kayla that's blasting him, saying he was a cheater and all this stuff. We don't know the details. I don't know the details. But it's just interesting how people transform themselves when they get with people. And even like with, what's her name? Not Chloe, Courtney. How she was with Scott, and now she's with Travis, and now she's just all goth. And I think, you know, your partner wears off on you, but I'm just like, really, Travis, either you want the chocolate or not. So now he comes back to the other side. All right. So, yeah. But like I said, I'm remaining equal opportunity, because I do believe that you love who you love, but you do have to understand one another's culture and be willing to learn, and don't let anybody let you feel bad about it either. I mean, we're in a new age right now, and I feel like We are entitled to do what makes us happy, regardless of what your family thinks, regardless of what your friends think. Cause like I said, y'all might see me out here with somebody else if it don't work out with a melanin lover. Okay, cause I'm keeping hope alive, y'all. Um, since let's see, I'm trying to catch y'all up on what's happened in my life since the last 30 days. Besides Usher and Beyonce, I did get love bombed by a guy. It's just hard out in these streets. Um, I just need people to just act right, so that y'all could have a little niece or nephew one of these days, and I can tell you all about my beautiful love story. Max says, as long as the person is happy in their relationship, that's all that matters. Exactly. And it shouldn't matter to anybody else. But you have so many people who have, again, we're talking about those biases, where I've dated people and they're like, I really like you, but I don't think I can bring you home to my family. And there are people who have decided to just walk away from their family and be with the person that they love. You have the story of the Lovings. It's so many stories historically over the years where interracial couples have gotten together and they're like, well, if my family doesn't accept you, then that's fine, but we love each other and we're gonna do what makes us happy. Let's see. Max said, I've been hearing this term love bombing a lot. Can you give a brief description of what love bombing means? Max, I thought you were an avid watcher because I've talked about love bombing before, but I will tell you, love bombing is when somebody just goes all in really, really too soon. Buying gifts and telling you all the things that they want to do for you, telling you how they feel about you and how they're going to treat you so differently and from it they're different and all these things. And I mean, just basically overextending themselves and overexerting themselves when they know they ain't shit and they know they're not going to be committed to the cause. So that's basically in a nutshell what it is. Like, people buying gifts, showing up and doing the most, basically, like I said, but when they know that they're not going to be all in. So yeah, that's what love bombing is. Love bombing, I mean, it's just been a lot. It's been a lot, y'all. I'm still holding on to hope, though. you know um, so I hope you guys are keeping hope alive. And if you're not equal opportunity, that's okay. You're gonna find love. And so next week we have a guest. So I'll be back next week. I'm going to rest my voice tonight because I could talk to you guys all night. I'm gonna rest my voice, drink my tea, and I will see you guys back here next Monday. And like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff if you like this episode. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.